The book of Romans, chapter number 12 and verse 6. Romans 12, verse 6. It says, in his grace, God has given us different gifts for certain things. Different gifts for doing certain things well. Is that not amazing? That God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. So what that implies is there are some things that you have the grace to do well more than other things. There are some things that you have the grace to do well more than other people. You know, my madam would say, oh, you know how to cook this particular food more than me. Please cook it for us. Because that particular one, I sort of just know how to cook it better. And instead of her to struggle with, oh no, because I want to do it, she just said, Oga, go and do it. So that means there are certain things that you know how to do more than other people. And also, there are certain things that you know how to do more than other things. And wisdom should tell you not to keep struggling at the things that you have realized that are not too good for this thing. And focus on the ones that you know that you are excellent at. Because the truth is, the world is going to celebrate you not for everything you know how to do, but for the things that you know how to do more than other people. Are you with me this morning? For the things you know how to do more than other people. And God has given you grace for it. That's what Romans says. That God has given, in his grace, he has given you the capacity to do some things better than other things. To do some things better than other people. I remember as a kid, I think I was around 7 or 8 years old, then. And my mother had called me to her side by the bed. She said, oh, what would you like to be when you grow up? I would never forget that. I would never forget that day. As much as I may have forgotten many things that may have happened, that particular one I would never forget. I think I was about 7 or 8. And then she said, what would you like to be when you grow up? And without hesitation, as if I'd been waiting for her to ask that question, I just, blurted out saying, oh, I'd like to be a musician. Children now. Someone that doesn't have, you don't have bills to pay, you don't have rent to pay, you don't have any food to pay for, you don't have anything to pay, you're enjoying your life. That stage of a child's life is usually a pure stage where whatever their heart yearns for is usually an indication of the natural gifts that they have, especially if they've been functioning in it already. It's usually an indication of the special gifts that God has given them, the grace that God has given them, especially if you've seen that, this child does this thing, this child likes this thing. Or maybe they are casting the news now, for instance. I mean, of course, not many children will like this. They're casting the news, and this child is focused on just watching the person casting the news. And you see him when he's with his peers, trying to read the news to them. And when they are probably showing music or playing music or dancing or playing football, he's not so interested. But when it comes to casting the news, he's just fixated. He just loves it. God has given all of us different graces, different gifts, different talents, different skills. In fact, different levels of skill in the same skill. So I said to her then, I want to be a musician. I want to be like King Sunny Ade. I will never forget. I mean, for those who don't know, the legendary juju master, who he's highly skilled with the guitar. The first time I saw him, first time he came around to the studio, I was in awe. I remember that day when my mother had asked me, Yemi, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because I could picture myself that day, and I could picture this man now, I was like, if only I'd probably gone on to become a musician, maybe I would have been as great as this man. See, that thing that I said those years, that day, those years, it wasn't really a dream. It wasn't vague. It was just what I thought I was supposed to be doing as a child. What my mother did not know, what I could not fully explain as a 7-year-old, was that The desire to want to be a musician, to sing or to play musical instruments was not simply something I liked. It was something I was at the time, because I can recall that as a child, I was very good with the music instruments. And then I was part of the choir, interestingly, and our choir director had traveled and he came back with a drum then he called the bongos. That was my first time of seeing it or even hearing such a name. And he was asking who can attempt to play it. And I just raised my hand and he handed me the sticks. And like I've been playing all my life, I started playing the drums. It was a gift. The same way you as a parent now listening to me, you see some things, some proclivities that your child has, and you are trying to stop the child from doing it. No, don't do that. No, go and pick up. I'm not saying everybody should read, everybody should study. Everybody. But the point I'm making is sometimes the giftings of the children, of the people, are usually more expressed as a child. You just see them being drawn towards a particular thing, and you don't stop them. You should only when it's probably a negative vice, when you can tell that, okay, this guy is going the wrong way, and then you just put a boundary to bring them back to the center. I will make this money. So the music thing then for me wasn't something I necessarily just admired. It was something I thought I was. I could just pick up any music instrument. I can't recall actually being trained on how to play those instruments at the time. And I would just pick it up and, I'll be looking for the opportunities where the adults in the church would probably come late, or not even show up at all, so I can pounce on the instruments and then have the whole thing to myself. That was how interesting it was for me. Are you with this morning? And then later, my parents found out, that okay, it seems this child really likes music, and then they registered me in the music school. But fast forward many years later, when I was going to, go on to sit for the university entrance exams at the time, I chose medicine. I wanted to even be a doctor. Interestingly, from a child who at age 7 wanted to be a musician to wanting to go into university now, and then I've sort of just gotten, inducted into the, you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, or an accountant, or things like that. And I chose medicine. But thank God I didn't become a medical doctor. Anyway, I'm in an IT world. Because somehow I just shifted from medicine, and I shifted on to studying computer science and engineering, and I just found my way into the information technology world, where I've spent the significant part of my professional life. So that young boy who thought he was going to be a musician, who would have loved to be a musician, who would have wanted to be the next King Sunny Ade, became a man who sits behind the screens, who solves people's problems using technology. Now the question is that young boy a successful adult today? The answer is yes. And I'll explain to you. I need to stay with me. So I'll explain to you why the answer is yes. Is somebody with me this morning? So even though I've moved on to now be a tech entrepreneur, that gift that I had is still there. It's still there. So some of my friends today will be like, oh, there's this song, listen to it. Is it going to be a hit or not? And I'll tell with almost 100% accuracy that this one is going to hit, this one is going to miss. It's still there. I'm using my own personal experience to explain to you as a parent, as someone who is a caregiver for a child, that you should pay attention to the natural inclinations of the young ones around you and let them operate in their area of giftings than forcing them to be what they may not have the gifts for. In His grace, He has given us different skills. So today I stand before audiences and I speak, I teach, I share ideas, and I watch people's faces change, light up when they receive words that can change their life. And I do this with ease. It came naturally also. And that speaks to the fact that you can actually have more than one gift. And I'm going to go there also. So you need to stick with me this morning. So I've started this conversation early so that we can have sufficient time to talk about this topic. Because you ask any random person in today's world, what do you want to be? And the person is telling you, I want to be a content creator, I want to be an influencer, I want to be on TikTok, which is not wrong in itself, but everybody will not be everything. Imagine everybody in Nigeria is a doctor. Imagine everybody is a lawyer. Imagine everybody is a content creator. And then you see those who keep on struggling because they are not operating in their natural habitat. Imagine you go to the beach now, and then the tide is moving in a particular direction, and you are trying to go in the opposite direction. You are going to exert so much energy because you are not following the tide. There's a natural gift that you have. There's something that you do most effortlessly, sometimes without any form of formal training or even informal training. And because it looks like the world is not doing that, you want to focus on what the world is doing, and then you struggle at it. Are you with this morning? So this morning's teaching is to help you identify that thing that has been woven into you even before the world began to tell you what you should be. And one of the most globally acclaimed, accepted person who probably is the most significant person functioning in his extraordinary humanness is someone who we call Lionel Messi, the footballer. And this is not because he's the most famous footballer in history, even though he is. It's not because he has won more Ballon d'Or awards than any other player before right now. But because Messi represents something profound. What happens when a human being operates fully, completely and unapologetically within the gifts that they were born with? When you watch Messi play, you are not watching someone who is playing with effort, who is struggling. You are watching effortlessness. You are watching someone who, it's the World Cup season, and then just some days ago when Argentina had their first match, this guy scored a hat-trick, even at age 38. Whereas some players have retired at age 30, 31, 32. At age 38, he's still functioning effortlessly, still doing better than most of his team members. You're watching a man who is doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, who is where exactly he's supposed to be. And this is what I want for you, listening to me. This is what I want for your child. This is what I want for my child. Because there's a Messi in everybody. And I'm not talking about Messi the footballer. I'm talking about the extraordinary human being that you can be. There is that level of extraordinariness in you. A gift so natural, so uniquely yours, that when you walk in it, it doesn't feel like you are walking. You feel like you are home. It feels like you are doing something easily. So now, people say, oh, Yemi doesn't talk, he's a very quiet person. He doesn't talk much. But when you talk about certain things, I can start talking, and the next 3 hours I'm still talking about that particular thing. There's a particular kind of talk I like. Started this conversation now some minutes before 8 o'clock, and this is going to run probably till around 9 o'clock. So for an hour or more, there's going to be continuous talking. Whereas some people will do 5 minutes and they're done. It's an area of gifting, and you need to identify yours. You need to find the Messi that is in you. And stop trying to be like everybody, because you indeed cannot be like everybody. The best you would be is second best, not the best at it. Let me give you a little history. I'm just going to spend a few minutes giving us a little history of this guy that we so have come to love in today's world. He was 13 years old when he got to Barcelona in Spain, having left behind his parents, his siblings, everything. And he went because the club had seen something in him, so they called for him. And every day they would inject in him a hormone to help the deficiency in his development. Meaning, this guy even had issues, biological issues. He wasn't growing the way he ought to grow, and they had to help him with hormones to make his leg grow and be strong, because they saw something extraordinary in him. That young 13-year-old boy that got off the plane in year 2000 is today the one who has had, unarguably today is the greatest footballer ever. 8 Ballon d'Ors, 4 UEFA Champions League, 10 La Liga titles. But here's what I want you to understand about the person Messi. And remember, we're not talking football. We are using him as an instance to help you see where you would be if you function in your own uniqueness, in the giftings that God has blessed you with, that God has given you the grace for. Here's what I need you to understand about the guy, is that his trophy cabinet doesn't exactly or comprehensively capture who he is. His greatness did not come from working harder than everybody else, even though it is important to work very hard. It came from something far more fundamental, the fact that this guy was born with a gift. His coaches back in Argentina would say amongst his teammates at age 4, he was described as playing with so much difference. It was like he was in a different dimension to his peers, despite being smaller than everybody. Let me talk about something I've postulated, and I call this the 3 cycles of human potential. The 3 cycles of human potential, circles. The first circle is that of what you are called to do as a human being. There is something that is the reason you were born. That is your natural gift, which is what I'm talking about today. The thing you were wired for, even before you were born. The reason God thought, oh, Chinedu, it's time for you to go to the world. Many times you don't need any form of formal training for it. You do it with ease, more naturally than anybody else. The time when people get tired of doing that thing is when you probably are just getting started. And that is your Messi. That is the Messi thing in you. So for me, the instrument I'll pick up as a child to play was probably the Messi thing in me. That was my circle. And there's this other one, which is the thing which you are trained to do. You may not be able to identify what you are good at naturally. There are people like that. They can't identify it. And it's not that they don't have, it's that they've not been exposed enough to the things that will bet those things in them. So you see some people that they'll be in a particular city and then it looks like things are not going on well, and for some reason they pack their bags and go to another city and they become superstars. Is that this new city they went to gave them the opportunity to exhibit these natural giftings they have, and they begin to, express it, and they become superstars at it. So number 2 is that you can be trained to do something. You may not have a gift, but you can be trained. You can be trained through education, you can be trained through apprenticeship, you can be trained through even deliberate practice, accumulated experience. You can become excellent at things that you are not primarily gifted at. And one person that we can also talk about in that regard, in my opinion, even though he's talented, is Cristiano Ronaldo. He probably is the greatest example of this cycle in modern football. We see interviews where his teammates will say they will meet Ronaldo on the pitch, already training. When they are done and they are gone, he's still there training. No wonder he's regarded as one of the greatest footballers to ever live. And at age 40, 41, he's still playing. He's still at the World Cup. He's playing right now. And I have a document, I have a book where I dedicated a full chapter to breaking down what makes Cristiano Ronaldo Cristiano Ronaldo. Maybe if you're interested, you can send me a message and I'll share the book with you. So what that means is training matters enormously. Training matters enormously. The person who adds rigorous training to natural giftings become unstoppable. Absolutely. And the third circle is the circle of what you love to do. See, passion is a powerful force. When you love something deeply, whether you are born with it as a gift or not, that love you have for it drives you to spending hundreds and thousands of hours in pursuit of excellence in that thing. The greatest human lives are lived at the intersection of these 3 circles. So the intersection of what you are called to do, that is what you are born to do, what you are trained to do, and what you love to do. If you are fortunate to have those 3 things as the same thing, you are the greatest human being in your generation. I kid you not. You are the greatest human being in your generation. So you can see how much disservice you are doing to yourself by functioning in your area of no gifting, in your area of no competence, in your area of no passion. You see why you are frustrated that you go to work every day to do the kind of job that you don't like, because you must put food on the table. Because when you were younger and you didn't have responsibilities, and there were supposed to be opportunities for you to harness your potentials into what you ought to be in the world, you were not given the opportunities, you were not given the exposure, and you had to fit into the system of wake up in the morning, go to work, face traffic, get there, your boss insults you, you get salary at the end of the month, you spend it on bills, you go back the following day, and you repeat the same cycle. Your gift never really feels like a gift to you. It feels like breathing. It's precisely how you know this is yours. Somebody will make this man. And I'm going to explain this to us because there is a science behind it. Oh, don't think this person is just trying to motivate me to. No, there is a science behind it. And this question has occupied psychologists, educators, philosophers for centuries. And the question is that, are people born with different abilities, or do we all start equally and simply just diverge based on the environment and effort? The most honest answer, and this is supported by decades of research, is that both of them matters. So there is the nature versus nurture argument. But the truth is both of them matter. But the side that goes for being born with it is probably far more powerful than those who are taught to believe that you can grow into it. There's a psychologist, a Harvard developmental psychologist named Howard Gardner, and in 1983 he published a landmark work that he titled The Frames of Mind, the theory of multiple intelligences. And what Gardner said, his center argument was that human intelligence is not a single fixed quantity measured by an IQ score, which is what the world likes to do. Instead, Gardner proposed that human beings possess multiple distinct intelligences. So there is linguistic intelligence, there is musical intelligence, there is logical and mathematical intelligence, there is spatial intelligence, there is bodily or kinesthetic intelligence. There's even interpersonal intelligence, and there is intrapersonal intelligence. You know, the intrapersonal intelligence is one of the weirdest ones I've ever seen. Weirdest. You hardly see people have that level of intelligence. So you see some people that they listen to a certain language, and after being exposed to it for a while, they just get it. They just are able to speak the language. It's not like somebody sat them down to say, oh, when they say wa, it means come. They just hear it and they're able to get it and they're able to say it, to understand it. And you see yourself, no matter how long you stay in that place and you are not, you will not understand. There is musical intelligence. You just can identify rhythms. They just come to you naturally. They just come to you naturally. There are people that are so skilled at interpersonal relationships, where you struggle to communicate with people, to build relationships. Some people just get into the space and then it just feels like, no, they were born for this. I'm saying this to help us understand that those things that you find yourself doing naturally, they are gifts. And wisdom should tell you to operate in the area of your gifting. Don't work against it. Are you with somebody? So Gardner's research revealed that something, that should fundamentally change how we think about talent. He revealed something that should fundamentally change about how we think about giftings. That every human being is born with a dominant intelligence. There is something you are particularly good at. That is just research at the secular world in the educational system. Something that Romans had told us. Remember I said earlier in the book of Romans chapter number 12 and verse 6 that in his grace he has given us different gifts to do certain things well. So science is catching up with scripture thousands of years later. And we can go on and on and on and on talking about the different people who have operated in their levels of gifting, whose parents perhaps found out at a tender age. Someone like Tiger Woods, who his father, Earl Woods, was able to Start taking him to the golf course. Or we talk about Serena Williams. Or let's even bring it home. Victor Osimhen. Or let's talk about Andre Agassi. These people function in their giftings, and Andre Agassi was at a point described to be a dinosaur. In fact, at age 9 now, he was called a dragon because he could hit the ball with accuracy. A 9-year-old. Your own 9-year-old is still running around. So everybody has a gift, including you. So don't say, oh, I don't have a gift, this. No, you have. You have. And I'm going to share with us a few points that would help us identify our gifts. I'm just looking at my notes here, and there's so much. There's so much. Maybe I'm going to have to share this. All right. So one of the greatest tragedies in life is not actually failure. It is succeeding at the wrong thing. And succeeding at the wrong thing is not also failure, because you actually are successful, but you could have succeeded at what you were actually created to do. It would have costed you less time, less effort. It will be easy for you. You are in class and a student is always the best student, whereas some other ones struggle. It's not that he's essentially a better human being than the rest. He's just gifted in that level, in that area of life. These other ones that seem like he's always the one carrying the whole class on his head, out of 30 students, he's number 30. You may come out of school and you realize that he has such a skill that school could not teach him. There's someone I follow on Instagram, Gary V. And Gary will talk about how he was such a bad student while he was in school. But Gary today is one of the greatest social media experts ever. His company manages big brands like Toyota. Someone who was not a good student. And imagine that the whole world had judged him as a failure because he wasn't a fantastic student. Whereas his skill was actually social. His skill was actually marketing. Many people are busy, but they're not fruitful. Many are working, but they're not fulfilled. And the reason I emphasize that we should expose the kids to these things at a young age is so that before the pressures of the world start hitting them, they can already be in the system. Because everything you do will pay you if you do it long enough and well enough. Do you hear what I just said? Everything you do will pay you if you do it long enough and well enough. So wisdom should tell you to do the ones that are meant for you and not to do the ones that are not meant for you. A fish can spend its entire life trying to climb a tree, but it will never be the best at it. And the problem is not that the fish will lack ability. The problem is that the fish is operating outside its design. You are uniquely gifted because God has not created anybody that is empty. Before He created your need, He has deposited an ability. Before He created your assignment, He deposited a gift that will be used for that assignment. So point one is that God created everybody with a gift. God created everybody with a gift. And the Bible says different gifts. Not everybody is called to sing, not everybody is called to preach, not everybody is called to do business, not everybody is called to be a doctor. God is too wise to create 7 or 8 billion people to give them the same things to do. No, He said that. The challenge is that many of us spend our lives trying to be someone else. We compare ourselves with others, we copy trends, we imitate celebrities. Meanwhile, our own greatness is waiting to be discovered. Messi did not become great by trying to be like Ronaldo. Ronaldo did not become great by trying to be like Messi. Each became great by being the fullest version of themselves. So the question for you is, what are you becoming? I'll tell you 4 things that hide our gifts. 4 reasons that your gifts may never come out. Number 1, comparison. Comparison is probably the biggest reason that a person will not become what he or she is supposed to become. Many of us have abandoned our gifts because somebody else seems more successful. So you quit what you are doing, you abandon your lane, and you get into the other person's lane. It's interesting. Some years ago, I used to work on the island, and then we were in traffic one day. I was fortunately in the same vehicle with my boss. We're driving to the office together, and he said something that struck me hard. At that particular day, I didn't really understand it. I started paying attention after that day, and I saw that this thing looks true. We're in traffic. That's popular Thor Milan traffic. And then my boss said, if you see people always jumping from one lane to the other, trying to get ahead of others, when they see that this other lane is moving, they jump there. When they see this other lane is moving, they jump there. He says it is usually indicative of who they are in their personal lives. That they hardly are people who stay on one thing till they succeed at it. They always jump from one thing to the other. They see, content creation is what is in vogue, they move into it. They hear, affiliate marketing is what's in vogue, they move into it. They hear, going to China is what is in vogue, they move into it. Any new product comes out, that is what they move into it. Those people that jump from one lane to the other, they are the kinds of people that cannot stick with something until they succeed at it. That day, he said, the moment he said that, he said, what does this man mean? But I started paying attention, and I realized that the people who don't succeed the most, people who don't achieve their greatest potentials, are the people who compare themselves to others. They see that the life of someone else is moving, and then they jump on the person's lane. And it looks like he's not moving as such. The grass was not actually greener. Then they look for another person again. They jump into that one. And they keep on jumping from pillar to post, At the end of their life, they will not have done so much because they were comparing their lives with others. When you compare, it blinds your purpose. It blinds your purpose. So the person who is supposed to be a teacher is trying to become a musician. The person who is supposed to be selling something is trying to be a programmer because they said tech is the in thing. Data analysis, everybody is data analysis, which is not a bad thing altogether. We understand that you have to move in the direction that the world is moving in, but there's a gifting you have that is relevant for this time that you are in. What you're supposed to do with the tools you have is to harness the gifting. I was talking to someone yesterday and I said, see, AI will not get you jobless. It's not going to take your job from you. It will only take your job from you if you fail to appreciate the power of AI and use AI to do your job. Let me quickly say this here. Principles are universal. Did you hear me? Principles are universal. Meaning that principle is relevant no matter where you are in the world, no matter the time it is. However, the values, before I go to values, the tools for the implementation of those principles, they change with time. Let me say it again. Principles are universal, but the tools for the implementation of those principles, they change with time. And what that means is, let me use an instance. There was a time when we were using typewriter to get things typed. And then the PC was invented, and then we moved to the computer. The results of the both of them is still the same, similar, to get something typed, structured, organized, print out. But imagine when the computer came, you refuse to use the computer, and then you stuck to your typewriter. It will be a matter of time before your typewriting business runs down, because people will patronize. So it is still the same thing you're trying to do, but you're using different tools. So the point I'm trying to make is AI may not necessarily take your job. AI is just going to give you an opportunity to do it in a better way and a more efficient way to get better results. And it will be fully on your own part if you don't appreciate AI, if you think AI is the devil. It is not. You have to use the tools of the now to execute the purpose that you have. And of course, the third thing is that the values of the people who execute these principles using tools differ. So the results you will get will be dependent on your value, even though you are using the same tools. I hope somebody caught that. That wasn't my message for today, but I had to put that out. So the person who should be building businesses is trying to become an influencer. He's trying to help other people, just promote their own businesses. Number 2, family pressure. Many Nigerians are living their parents' dreams. Many children's JAMB form was filled by their father or their mother, which is why you see 50% want to go and do medicine. 70% want to go and do engineering. Who is going to be? And the truth is, the parents often mean well, but sometimes they only push the child away from his natural design. Some doctors secretly wish that they were artists. Some lawyers secretly wish that they were writers. Some accountants secretly wish that they were builders. And God will not judge you based on someone else's assignment. He will judge you based on yours that He has given you capacity for. Number 3, I need to move fast. Number 3 is trend pressure. Oh God, this one is so powerful in today's world because everybody wants to be a content creator. Everybody wants to be a content creator. Yesterday it was cryptocurrency. Before then it was banking. Before then it was oil and gas. Today's world is tech, and content creation. Trends change, but purpose do not. Design do not. What is fashionable today may disappear tomorrow. What you should just try to do is to ensure that what you are skilled and talented and gifted for is relevant in today's world using today's skills. Number 4, fear. Fear has buried more gifts than failure has ever done. Most people are afraid of what if I fail? And the question I usually ask is, what if you succeed? Most people are afraid of what will people say. But I've come to realize that people are not even really sending you like that. You spend your time, your years trying to do things, bearing in mind what people will say. But then you grow old past when your strength is still, there 100%. You grow to the phase where you realize people don't really send you. They were going by their own businesses and you've spent your time paying attention to them. Those people that don't even send you. What if nobody supports you? So what if nobody supports you? So what? You know you can do this thing, but then you don't do it. Why? Because you are worried that nobody will support you. Let me move ahead this morning because I'd like to take maybe calls or messages. Alright? So, how do you know your gifts? Because there'll be signs. There'll be signs. One of the signs is that it will come naturally to you. As a young person, you find yourself doing things that you don't have any form of training for. You understand things that people find it difficult to understand and you have to explain to them. How did I know that I'm actually a good tech person? I remember then I was in school and we had this programming language. I'm trying to recall that language. One of those languages then was so difficult to understand. Was so difficult that only about 3 or 4 people passed that course. It was so difficult. But I could understand it and I could explain it to few people. And they eventually passed. That capacity to understand that language came easily to me. While it looked like Greek to some of the other students in class, I could understand it. He told me, you actually know this thing. You have a skill, you have a gift in this thing. These other guys that didn't understand it, it didn't mean that they were not good enough. They were excellent students in many other courses. But in that particular course, they could not just understand it. It was a gift. So you see things that will come naturally to you. Number 2, you lose track of time while you are doing it. You see that you are doing something and before you can say Jack Robinson, 1 hour has gone, 2 hours has gone. And you don't feel like you are doing so much. Whereas somebody is doing it and is saying, please, can we take a break? Can we take a break? I'm tired. That usually is an indication of what you are supposed to be doing. Life wasn't created to be endured. None other things that you see that make you know that, I'm gifted in these things, that people compliment you. Even before you ask, they compliment you. They compliment you. When they need someone to do that thing, you are the one they will call first. It's a gifting. Don't commonize it. That thing that you think, and we Africans especially, we are so humble. Fake humility is not even original humility. Somebody say, oh, you are good at this. Say, no, it's just a small. No, you are good at it. Accept it. Accept it. one other thing that you see is that you have loved it since childhood. It's something you love doing. It's not, I said I used to love it. In fact, I still do. I used to play instruments, and when I go to church, you hardly find me sit, because my church is a very big church, the auditorium can take 5,000 people at the same time. So you can imagine 5,000 people. I would never sit at any other place aside where I can easily see the instrumentalists playing. Easily. Where I can see them. It just gives me joy, just enjoying the music. You have a natural talent in this thing. That from childhood, it's been a thing for you. Even as an adult, it's been a thing for you. Things you naturally enjoy doing. Number 5, it makes you feel alive. Not mere happy. There's a level of happiness, there's a level of joy, there's a level of being alive. There's a level of everything just fades away. Everything you're just there, enjoying it, soaking it all in. But the question I now wonder is, how did we get here where we don't even now pay attention? And I understand there are bills to pay. There are bills to pay. But my question to you this morning is, what did you enjoy doing before life became difficult? Before the bills came in? Before you had to pay rent? What did you enjoy doing before people started telling you what you should be? There are many clues to your future that are hidden in your past. And the early enough you help your children or people around you, or even you, bring these things out, the better it is for you. God is counting on you. Even as a Christian, God is counting on you. Let your light shine so bright before men. Let your light shine. He wasn't exactly talking about salvation in that regard. He wasn't exactly telling you about evangelism. Is somebody with me this morning? Let your light what? Shine so bright before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 16. Many gifted people fail. Because I need to add this clause to it. You need to understand that despite being gifted, there can be failure. And it's not because they lack talent. Bringing this to a close now. The reason many gifted and talented people have even found their gifts, because there are many people who, see, one dimension is that time and chance happens to them all. I'm going to talk about let's leave the time. Let's talk about the chance part. Your capacity to be recognized when your opportunity comes is dependent on how much you have harnessed your gifting, how much you have pruned it, how much discipline you've put in place. So many gifted people don't fail because they lack talent. Many fail because they lack discipline. Ecclesiastes chapter number 9 and verse 10 says that whatsoever your hand findeth to do, do it with what? All your might. Your talent gets attention, but your discipline keeps the attention. Your talent can open doors for you, but your discipline keeps those doors open. Is somebody with me this morning? And because I've been using the football as the illustration this morning, so consider 2 footballers. One is enormously talented, but neglects discipline. Can anybody come to your mind? Can any footballer come to your mind? Anybody whose name is like Hazard or even probably Dele Alli? I saw an interview where one of Hazard's teammates, Eden Hazard of Belgium, his teammates while he was at Chelsea said, while they are training, Hazard will just stroll to the pitch, he won't do much. And the coach will not say anything, they will not say, because they know that when they get on the field on the day of the match, he will still be the one to win them the match. So he didn't add discipline to it. He was super talented. He was regarded as the best player in the Premier League at that period. But then he got to a bigger level and then he failed. Why? Because he did not add discipline to his talent. He did not add extreme hard work to his talent. So there's this other one who combines talent with relentless discipline. And years later, one person remains at the top. Who can come to your mind now Cristiano Ronaldo. Yes, he may not be the most talented footballer ever, but this guy is so disciplined. When I saw the documentary of how he lives his life, how he cautions himself on what to eat, he doesn't eat just anything. He doesn't go just anywhere. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do all these things. He doesn't even have tattoo on his body. See, let me tell you, your gift is a seed. Discipline is the soil. Without the soil, your seed will die. Let me say it again. Your gift is a seed. Discipline is the soil. Without a healthy soil, your seed will die. So your talent would amount to nothing. As an individual, you'll be a waste to the society if you do not harness that talent. If you do not discipline yourself to go through the regimen that will make the best out of your talent. Do you understand me? I'm going to share this last point and I'm going to bring this conversation to a close. Your gift is not for you alone. Did you hear what I just said? Your gift is not for you alone. Scripture says in 1 Peter chapter number 4 and verse 10 that as every man has received the gift, even so minister the same to the other. Let me break it down for you. As you have gotten your gift, even so use that gift for the good of other people. So you think you want to get all you can from God, can all you get and sit on the can so that only you will have access to it. It doesn't work that way. If there's anybody that we all see today and we celebrate, we adore, and everything, is because what they are doing, the gift they have, is benefiting us. If it's not benefiting us, it's a waste of time. You won't even acknowledge them. Do you understand? You won't acknowledge them. So your gift is not for decoration. Your gift is actually a solution. God gave it to you because somebody else needed it. Because somebody else needs it. And they will always need it. The day you stop sharing your gift with the world, you start dying. Do you hear what I just said? So your gifting is not for you. Yes, you benefit because when you solve problems for people, they won't just say thank you and that's all. They will give you money. Money is the greatest store in today's world. It's the greatest store of value. So what happens when you use your gift to serve people? They would exchange that gift you've given to them for the value they have, which is stored in money, and they would. Do you understand? Messi is a billionaire. Ronaldo is a billionaire. Many of these footballers are they are millionaires in their hundreds. Do you understand me? Again, it's football season, it's World Cup season, so permit me, for those who don't like football, to use this example, but it applies to almost every other industry, almost every other area of life. So the teacher's gift is to solve ignorance. The mechanic's gift is to solve your transportation problem. The reason you took your car is because the car cannot take it from point A to point B. So you go to the mechanic. The entrepreneur's gift is to create jobs. The musician's gift is to inspire your heart, make you feel good. The preacher's gift, the teacher's gift is to change your life. Your gift is a service package wrapped inside of you. It's not for fancy. It's not. And the tragedy of life is not just that people die. We realize that people die with the gifts that they have inside of them. With the gifts they have inside of them. Someone told me this morning. Many people are praying, God bless me. But God is saying, I've already placed the blessing inside of you. The gifts that you have, your gift is God's seed in your life. And you need to develop it. You need to discover it first. That's the first step. You need to develop it. You need to design it. You need to discipline it. That discipline part, you cannot toy with it. You need to deploy it. You need to share it. Because when you find your gift, you do not just find what you do. You find who you are. That is why almost everybody is defined by what they do, which is in tandem with who they are. So anytime you hear any name, something comes to your mind. You hear Dora Akunyili, you think NAFDAC, you think that she saved the life of people. That was her gift. You hear Messi, you think world best footballer. You did not think of his parents. You thought of what value he's contributed to the world. You hear Pastor Yemi Adeoye, and you suddenly think of what he does. Him being a pastor, him having hundreds of thousands or probably millions of members and changing lives. So you see, the reason why you are not relevant yet is because you've not formed and harnessed, deployed your gifts yet. The reason your name will be mentioned, Chinedu Obasi, and then it doesn't ring any bell, is because you've not functioned in your area of gifting. The richest place on earth is not the oil field, and I'm sure you've heard this before. It's not the gold mine, it's the graveyard. It's because it carries many people who never discovered, never developed, never shared their gift to the world. And I don't want that to be your portion. And for many adults listening today, you may have gotten to that point where, see, you don't have so much. Let's just continue doing my own thing the way I'm doing it. But you have kids coming after you. You owe them this. You owe them this. So let me give you 5 questions you can ask yourself or ask your child. What do I love doing? And you can answer it too. As a child, what did you love doing? What do people consistently praise you for? What do people consistently praise you for? What activity makes you forget time? I know my own. The things I do that in fact, if I don't check time, by the time I check it, 3-4 hours gone. If money isn't a factor, what will you gladly do? Meaning they're not going to pay you for it. What's that one thing that you do? And number 5, what problem do you naturally enjoy solving? What problem do you naturally enjoy solving? What I've done is to put together a book. When I found, and see, some of the things I come to share with us here sometimes are usually products of the conversations I have with people who call and say, oh, Mr. Yemi, this, and this is the problem of this person. And then I go on to create solutions for it. So I put together a book and I titled it Finding Your Messi. Because you too can be the goat, and goat doesn't mean the animal goat, it means greatest of all time, right? You too can be the goat in your own industry, in your own life. You can be the best at what you are doing. So I titled it Finding Your Messi. It will show you how to discover, how to develop, how to unleash the gifts that you were born with. It's just a small one, a small book. It's not, you can read it within 1 hour, 30 minutes, just sitting down, and change your life. I even encourage you to get it for the young ones around you. Or you're a school owner, get across to me. Let's get it for these children. Let them learn from a tender age. Let's grow them into what they should be, not what do you want to be. Everybody says the same thing: lawyer, doctor, engineer, accountant. Which one was raining during those days? Aeronautic engineering. That's what everybody wants to be.